The Promised Neverland Season 2 finale. What a dumpster fire. Where did this anime go wrong? Why did you get the Promised Neverland Speedrun Edition? So go ahead and smash a like and subscribe. Let's quickly dive into what the anime skipped or abridged, then examine this entire mess. Definitely share your frustration below. My previous video let you know when the Season 2 anime started to diverge drastically. Funny enough, the anime actually left the Promised Forest arc mostly intact. It officially became anime original when Emma and friends got to the hideout. Where the hell did Yugo go? Who knows, perhaps he got spared this awful fate. Yugo was a lone survivor from a previous group of runaway kids. The nice fella even gave Emma an awfully nice greeting. And no, he wasn't bluffing. After some convincing, Yugo eventually came around. You'll help us or we'll blow up the hideout. Yugo would eventually go on to become a major player for the group. Emma even made a deal with him to become their guide. Right here, goodbye Emma's infamous nickname from Yugo, Antenna. Here's where Emma and Ray left the hideout suited with guns and other bling. The little kids were ready to cap some demons. This whole adventure would have been a massive experience for both of them. Yugo's tough love allowed them to learn how to survive in the outside. That said, eventually Emma got separated into her own adventure. She unexpectedly got snatched up into this secret hunting grounds. Turns out this was owned by one of the noble demon poachers. They used this to hunt kids for fun. So talk about cutting out character development. This whole arc served as a major loss for Emma. You had kids dying in front of her, ones that she failed to save. Naturally, this meant all the new cast from the hunting grounds was cut out. The end of this arc had two major reveals. The first confirming that Norman was still alive, along with his current situation. It also introduced a special child, Adam, from the research area. His importance wouldn't get revealed until much later. Getting into the Goldie Pond battle arc. This is the arc manga fans were hyped for, and arguably where the series picked for some fans. This battle arc really is what it sounds like. Emma and her new buddies rebelled back against those demon hunters. It goes without saying how bloody the arc was. Huge losses from both sides. Especially for the kids. It'd be stuff that YouTube would flag in a heartbeat. The absolute climax here was Emma going head to head versus Demon Lewis. Just now things didn't go exactly as Emma had planned. So many people died because of this. Even Emma herself got this fatal piercing from the demon. I still recall that bone-chilling cliffhanger. The demon here actually gave Emma respect for putting up a good fight. Somehow at the end, Emma found the will to rise. Together with their buddies, they blasted the demon mofo into the afterlife. Hasta la vista, buddy. Quickly after this, Yugo desperately tried to get Emma back to their hideout. This was one of the main reasons the series peaked for some fans. Realistically, Emma should have died. There was no way she didn't bleed out from that. Even worse when you consider her being transported. Ultimately, this whole event really cemented the plot armor for the Promised Neverland cast, especially Emma. In the span of a single chapter, she went from almost dying to being up and walking. She recovered no problem, no lasting scars or issues. Anyway, next arc begins. With Emma recovering like a demon, she came up with a grand plan to save everyone. The main objective was searching for the Seven Walls place. Emma's goal was to find it, then forge a new promise. Fast forward a little bit, Emma eventually finds the ruins related to this dragon eye. This gave her a vision of the past. Emma also spotted the small demon that encouraged her to come in person. Ultimately, Emma confirmed the place actually existed and got a major clue as to how to reach it. After this whole discovery, there was a major time skip. 1 year and 7 months later. Unfortunately, this was when Peter's super agent Andrew came knocking. The anime actually instead made this whole raid on their hideout much sooner, instead using faceless soldiers. This whole raid was actually another highlight for a ton of fans. Perhaps one of the most tragic events of the series. Emma's own group suffered the biggest loss here. The next arc, King of Paradise. The star of this introduced you not only to the new group of demon hunters, but finally Norman himself. He wanted to build this paradise for children they rescued. For Emma, one of the kids from their group got sick, so why not raid a nearby farm to steal some medicine? Silly Emma, she got herself snatched up by some demons. But don't worry, her plot armor shined through. Anyway, after this quick detour, Emma and friends finally reunited with their buddy. Look at you, Norman, he got tall. It was a tearful reunion. Naturally, people do have mixed feelings about Norman being alive, but this really goes to show how the anime cut out any impact from Norman coming back randomly. This is where Norman revealed his plan. He wanted to destroy all the farms, and put an end to the clan behind all of this mess. Destroying the farms essentially meant killing off the demons. Surprise, turns out Emma did not want to kill the demons. What was the difference between demons and them? They had families, friends, they laughed and lived just like them. Sure, they ate humans, but that was only to survive. The biggest impact for Emma was meeting Mujika. While Emma was feeling conflicted, in the background Norman was busy making an alliance with the demon clan. Centuries ago, their noble clan was betrayed. Norman wanted to help them get revenge, but in reality both sides were just using each other. Looks like Norman was playing the hero's role. He was trying to start a civil war between the demons. This is when Emma threw a wrench into Norman's plan. Recall the adorable Mujika. Finding out about this, Norman argued that they needed to die too. You can imagine how Emma took this. If anything, it made her double down on her non-killing policy, which really cemented the rift between the two sides. Eventually, they settled on Emma going to find the 7 walls and trying to make a new promise. She only had until Norman's plan of attack took off. For Emma and Norman shippers, the manga was really giving you teases here. But Norman here was not moved by Emma yet. He would continue to advance forward until all his enemies were destroyed. Jumping forward, Emma and Ray gathered all the conditions to reach the 7 walls. They managed to enter this demon royal place. Looks like a big ass alchemy gate. The manga took its sweet time, but this is where the Supreme Demon Queen was introduced. Oh, she's a bad bitch. Although the demons in the capital were preparing for this war they knew was coming, Norman's plan was to kill off all the royal and noble demons. Funny how the anime reduced Norman's plan to attacking a single village. By the way, the anime completely cut out this wolf girl raised by demons. She was meant to help find Mujika. Honestly, it looks like she dodged the bullet. Anyway, back to Emma. She eventually got into the place that transcends time and space, the realm of day and light. Ray's sorry ass got left behind. Here, Emma made a request to the demon wanting to forge a new promise. The demon agreed, but asked for something from Emma in return. That was a price to change the promise. With that in mind, Emma made her wish. She wanted all the kids to be moved to the human side, and then for both of the worlds to be sealed off from each other. Turns out Emma's request was accepted. The cost actually wouldn't get revealed until much later. As for Norman, this is where you saw him coughing up blood. You got several hints of the previous experiments taking a toll on him, which further fueled his motivation to wipe out all demons before he fell apart. Next up, the attack on the capital begins. Norman kicked this off with a blast. Down goes the bridges. During all of this confusion, Emma and Mujika reunited in the capital. This whole battle arc should have been the most animation intensive out of anything in the anime. The whole fight versus the queen was this multi-chapter event. The pitch just wouldn't go down. The best part here was the very detailed drawings. Recall Norman trying to poison the demons? That actually did make an appearance on their attack on the capital. Emma and Ray eventually do find Norman, but they're way too late. He had tons of demon jam everywhere. Goodbye, noble demons. This is where Emma activated her Talk no Jutsu skill on Norman. Let's live together, Norman. The move was super effective. Norman caved in, asking Emma to help him. Do you recall Thick Boy Adam? This is where they suddenly realized he didn't suffer any side effects from the experiments. Turns out he would be the key to saving Norman and his lambda buddies. Meanwhile, on the ground floor, Mujika was busy giving her blood to the demons. It would help those affected by the poison. But wait, did you think the queen died? Think again. Her royal ass came back in Slenderman mode. As you could tell from this, the queen ultimately became the big bad. It's only a shame that she turned out to be some generic villain. All she wanted was more power. I want to eat everything and fill up. In the end, this demon queen died due to having overate. Mujika mentioned all the lies she consumed were eating her from the inside. Overall, it felt very anticlimactic. But wait, the other villain, Peter, remained. Next arc, return to Gracefield. Emma and the trio suddenly found their buddies kidnapped and taken back to Gracefield. I actually like the idea of ending this where it all started. So freaking finally, Isabella made it back into the story, now with the grandma title. This lovable fella threatened to kill one of the kids if they didn't spill info about the new promise Emma made. One of the weirdest scenes for Peter here was him proclaiming himself as their daddy. After all, he claimed they were only alive due to his farm system. The climax to this whole situation was similar to the anime events. Isabella ultimately sides with Emma, turning on Peter. Sorry, you discount Willie. I even got the slight feels seeing Emma refer to Isabella as her mother. Emma went ahead and tried her talk strategy on Peter. Let's live together. But sorry, denied. Peter also offed himself in the same way as in the anime. Overall, you did get Peter more fleshed out in the manga, but he was still this paper-thin character. By far the bigger takeaway here was Emma crying at his death. A little bit later, you had Demon Lewis returning. The guy announced the abolishment of the farm system. Hurrah! Looks like the new promise wasn't even needed. With the new era, Mujika would take over the role as queen. Yay! Back at Gracefield. Oh no, a random demon appeared, to which Isabella protected Emma last minute. Aww. So yes, originally Isabella sacrificed herself. You had Isabella trying to get redeemed that died. She was surrounded by all her children in her final moment. As for Emma, do you recall the promise? Her family was the most important thing to Emma, so the demon wanted it. Except for one issue, Emma's new promise made that impossible. Next arc, the human world. You had all of the kids, the Gracefield family getting transported over to our world. Except someone was missing. Where did Emma go? So here's the true price that Emma had to pay. It was saying goodbye to her family. Emma agreed to it. She couldn't remember anything. Nothing about her past, nothing about her family. She had been teleported to some random secluded area in the human world. Strangely, Emma kept seeing her buddies and family in some same reoccurring dream. You have some time passing by, maybe years, but don't worry, finally Emma got found. Yay! It only took like 2 chapters. The story ended with Emma feeling like she's always wanted to see them. She didn't get her memories back, but at least got reunited with them. So let me know, what do you think about this Promised Neverland finale? Do you like Emma ending up with her family, but as this empty shell? Or was the ultra happy anime ending for Emma better? Was there a better way to wrap this story up? Now, go ahead and compare this to the ending the anime gave you. The 7 Walls Gate got teased, but nope, it's just a normal gate. The anime actually had the balls to give you Emma and the rest staying behind. You know everything I just went over? Sure, why not? Let's hint that in the anime. It's practically giving you a middle finger. In the last minute, Emma even brings up a new promise. Let me tell you, Japanese Twitter was pissed at this. They were actually thinking that a true season 3 was being set up. And then getting onto the slideshow, those bastards gave you a shot of the dragon and demon. Which means Emma eventually did make a new promise. No cost. You do see Mujika reviving the new high priest. Originally in the manga, they wanted this guy to be the new king. You get to see the demon capital here. Did they attack it anyway? Meaning without Norman's original plan. They must have gotten Emma to talk them to death. In this celebration scene, you could clearly see Mujika being given the queen title. And even the anime ships Mujika and Emma, which should actually be their departing from the demon world. Hey, what do you know, Emma made it to the human world. No cost. As expected of the season 2 mess. Are you surprised no one wanted writing credit for this Tokyo Ghoul version 2.0? Naturally, the Promised Neverland fans had issues with the manga finale. There's still mixed feelings about it. But even before that, issues for the Promised Neverland started before the finale. Arguably going back to Emma surviving death, combined with almost magically being healed up in a single chapter. For others, it went downhill after the hideout raid. Almost everyone can agree that the first Gracefield arc was the best written material, no question. Most likely due to the author having the most time to flesh it out before even starting the series. Both of the 2 main villain figures with Peter and the Queen ultimately fell flat. Then you had Norman supposedly discarding his humanity to execute his plan, which was then followed by Emma bringing him back to his senses. I could see where the author was going with this, but it really didn't work as intended. Hey, any Ray fans? Oh, you got royally screwed. You should have noticed how much of Ray I didn't mention. The poor dude got reduced to simply following Emma. Unfortunately for some, the Promised Neverland ended up becoming too much the Emma show, but eventually all sense of danger was removed in the second half of the series. Forget about dying. Was there any meaningful loss or sacrifice after the hideout? Sure, Isabella died, but then if you bring her up, you now get into issues with how she was handled last minute. And I could go on. Trust me, I do bring up a lot of these issues as a fan of the series. You may recall people overhyping the season 1 anime, calling it a masterpiece, but honestly for me that was never the case. But still, I enjoyed it and became a fan and definitely asked for more. Rereading the series for this video, perhaps one of the bigger issues was how the season 1 anime raised the bar sky high. The rest of the series after that didn't deliver at the same level, feeling mostly average in the last third. Now you get into the Promised Neverland season 2 anime. Hey, let's cram 15 manga volumes into 11 episodes. Great idea, said some random CEO. This entire situation is mind-boggling. Congratulations. In this packed season of anime titans, you managed to stand out as being the new Tokyo Ghoul of this decade. But why? Why did this happen? Trust me, I did spend a good amount of time diving more into this, but since the last video, no new piece of info has come out. If I had a wager, I bet this whole situation was a call made by the production committee. The Promised Neverland manga already ended. Combine this with fan reception being lukewarm. Some higher up must have made the call to end it right here. Which is insane. The Promised Neverland was the 4th top-selling manga in 2019. Since the anime started, I've constantly seen new collabs for the anime popping up. But sorry, after burning us with this crap fest, that's killed my desire to spend any money on this series. Did you know the Promised Neverland even has an app game coming out? Which do notice what the trio is packing. Some of you asked me before in the previous video if kids wielding guns was an issue. It clearly isn't. Besides, the anime aired super late. So way to go, the Promised Neverland Season 2. You're officially even worse than X-Arm right now. But anyway, share your frustration below or just say hi. Did anyone actually like the Season 2 anime or maybe the new ending? Which ending was better? Where did the series go wrong? Is anyone gonna buy the manga now? Don't forget to like and subscribe, this was a ton of work. Check out these recent juicy anime videos and I'll see you guys later.